Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to The Walk. Today is Monday, February 24th, and we are up to Ezekiel 37. We are not going to make it through this chapter this week. There is so much to peel apart in this chapter. It's probably one of the most interesting chapters in the Bible, at least in my opinion. So we're just going to dive right into this, and we're going to be starting off by a little synopsis that was in the Apologetic Study Bible. Excuse my puppy off to the side. Yes, she's still in the lampshade, but she'll be done with that this week. So in the Apologetic Study Bible, there was a note for verses 1 through 14, and we're not even going to come close to getting to those today. But it said, this passage, among the best known of Ezekiel's writings today, consists of his dramatic vision for the restoration of Israel's life as a community. The restoration of Israel as a people is a fundamental component of the biblical doctrine of the resurrection of the dead. Christian interpretation views this text as part of the build-up to the resurrection of Jesus. The passage is read, for example, in the Easter Vigil services of many churches. The distinction sometimes drawn between national restoration, as here, and individual resurrection, as in the New Testament, is a distinction foreign to the biblical thought with its understanding of corporate solidarity. So that individualism would have been foreign to them. What happens to the head or representative of a community happens to all its members, so that Jesus' resurrection is also the resurrection of all who belong to him. And you can see evidence of that in 1 Corinthians 15, verses 22 to 23, who are the Israel of God, and that's in Galatians 6:16. While Ezekiel's primary purpose may not have been to teach a doctrine of the resurrection, he was not alone among the Old Testament writers in being given insight into the concept. Some interpreters deny that either Ezekiel or his hearers had any developed concept about the resurrection of human life, but many Old Testament passages suggest that there was some understanding of resurrection before and after the 6th century BC. Some scriptures you can look up there are Genesis 22:5, Job 19:25 to 29, Psalm 16:10 to 11, Psalm 49:15, Isaiah 26:19, Daniel 12:2 through 3, and Hosea 13:14. Ezekiel's statement, I am going to open your graves and bring you up from them, and that's in Ezekiel 37:12, that's this chapter, is a direct resurrection analogy. If the Judeans had no idea of the possibility of resurrection of human life, the analogy would have made no sense. So what we have here is that an analogy of the resurrection is being drawn here, and the people understood what resurrection was. They had some understanding of that. Where do we see evidence of the resurrection in the Old Testament? Well, in Psalm 71:20, God will revive people by raising them. In Isaiah 26:19, the dead will live again and the earth will give birth to them. In Daniel 12:2, some will awake to everlasting life and others to shame and everlasting contempt. And Job believed that his Redeemer would stand upon the earth at the last. So he said, I know my Redeemer lives, and that in the end he will stand on the earth. And after my skin has been destroyed, yet my flesh and I will see with God. I myself will see him with my own eyes, I and not another. How my heart yearns within me. And that was Job. So this resurrection idea was not new. Now we're up to verses 1 and 2. And we're going to stop before we get to 3. Verse 1, the hand of the Lord was upon me, and he brought me out in the spirit of the Lord, and set me down in the middle of the valley. It was full of bones, and he led me around among them, and behold, there were very many on the surface of the valley, and behold, they were very dry. One of the first things I thought of was, why are there so many bones here? Well, the Apologetic Study Bible had an answer for me. And that answer is, a large amount of bones described here implies that it was a scene of a major catastrophe. The depiction of a large number of corpses that were denied a proper burial is reminiscent of many battle scenes and descriptions of battle scenes in the earliest periods of Mesopotamia and Egyptian history. So there's lots of documentation that when there was a huge battle, the dead bodies would be left, and that was part of their shame and the defeat, that they didn't get a proper burial. So this valley did not, I started looking and I was digging for where was this valley. It didn't have a specific location. We have to remember that the Spirit of the Lord brought him there. He didn't travel to a particular location. Now, is he physically there, or is he having a vision? You know, that's debatable. There's a lot of commentary that's going both ways. He may have been physically transported there by the Spirit of the Lord. He may also be having a vision. But we're going to find out more about this tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and keep walking the walk.